Thank you for choosing Wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. If you're watching this video right now, it's not by accident. The universe has brought you here for a reason, one that might not be obvious yet, but will become clear as we continue. You didn't stumble upon this by chance. In fact, what you're about to hear may just shift the energy of your entire household, and with it, your fortune, your relationships, and your peace of mind. There are moments in life when we feel stuck. When money seems to come in, only to slip right through our fingers. When conversations at home turn tense without warning. When opportunities don't knock, and peace feels just out of reach. Most people chalk it up to bad luck or external stress. But what if the root cause was something much closer? Something right in front of you, sitting quietly in your home? Look at your dining table. Think about what's on it right now. It may look like an ordinary table, some plates, utensils, maybe even leftover items from lunch or dinner. But in the world of Feng Shui and Eastern spiritual wisdom, the dining table is not just furniture. It's a powerful energy center. A sacred gathering space where wealth is welcomed, love is nourished, and harmony is either strengthened or slowly eroded. And here's the surprising truth. Certain things you place on your dining table, even unintentionally, can silently sabotage your fortune. Yes, small items, everyday habits, seemingly harmless choices, can block your family's flow of prosperity, weaken your health, and disrupt the peace you work so hard to protect. This is not about superstition. It's about energy, alignment, intention. In the Dharma, even the smallest act carries weight. A misplaced object can ripple out into your life in ways you never imagined. In this video, you will uncover the 5 items you must never place on your dining table. Each one may seem trivial, but they hold the power to open or close the doors to abundance. And more importantly, you'll learn what to do instead, how to arrange your dining space so that it welcomes blessings, rather than repels them. Stay with me until the end, because this isn't just about removing bad energy, it's about building a sacred space within your home, one meal at a time. And when you understand how to do that, life begins to shift. Luck returns. Tension fades. The family smiles again, and wealth flows in ways you never thought possible. So take a deep breath, clear your mind, and begin this journey with an open heart. The energy in your home is waiting to be transformed, and it all starts at your table. If you believe that your home deserves peace, harmony, and prosperity, now is the perfect time to act. Tap the like button to affirm your intention for wealth. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma to receive more spiritual insights and Feng Shui teachings that uplift and empower. Now, let's begin. Part 2, Cracked Bowls and Plates, Symbol of Broken Karma. Look closely at the bowls and plates on your dining table. Not at the color, not at the pattern, but at the surface. Are there tiny chips along the edge? A thin hairline crack creeping along the side? A plate with a little dent that you've promised to replace someday but never got around to? Most people don't think twice about using a slightly chipped bowl. It still holds food, they say. It's just a small flaw. But in spiritual terms, especially in Buddhism and Feng Shui, what appears small often reflects something much deeper. And a cracked bowl is never just a cracked bowl. In Buddhism, the bowl is a sacred object. In monasteries, it's what monks carry when they go out for alms, open, empty, humble. The alms bowl represents the readiness to receive, the vessel of karma, the symbol of nourishment, both physical and spiritual. And above all, it represents wholeness. Now, think of what happens when that vessel is cracked. The wholeness is broken. The energy, the intention, the karma, it leaks. Just like how water cannot stay in a cracked cup, good fortune and harmony cannot stay in a space filled with broken vessels. Feng Shui teaches something very similar. The dining table is where energy gathers and circulates, like a spiritual hearth. Bowls and plates, in this context, are not just for holding food, they hold the energy of prosperity, health, and connection. And when one of them is broken, even slightly, it disturbs that flow. It becomes a subtle but powerful symbol of loss, separation, and decay. Let me share a story. There was once a woman named Clara. She lived in a quiet neighborhood and ran a small home bakery. Every morning, she woke up early, baked with love, and served meals for her family at a big wooden dining table passed down from her grandmother. Business was steady. Family life was peaceful. But slowly, things began to shift. Her teenage son became withdrawn. Her husband started complaining of constant fatigue. Orders from the bakery began to dry up, and Clara, who was once so full of energy, felt strangely heavy and unmotivated. She tried everything, prayed, worked harder, even took short vacations. But nothing changed. One day, an old friend visited and joined them for lunch. As they sat down, the friend noticed something small but telling. "Clara," she said gently, "this plate you served me, it's chipped." Clara smiled, embarrassed. "Oh, I've been meaning to replace that. It's just one plate." But that night, the friend sent Clara a message with a single line. "Where there is a crack in the vessel, there is a leak in your blessings." Clara didn't fully understand, but the next morning, she went through every cabinet and removed every chipped plate, every bowl with a crack, every piece of tableware with even the smallest flaw. She bought a simple new set, clean, whole, and neutral in color. Weeks later, things began to shift again, but this time, for the better. Her son started joining family meals again. Her husband said he felt lighter, clearer. Orders began coming in steadily. And Clara herself, almost without realizing it, began waking up with energy she hadn't felt in months. You see, it's not superstition. It's alignment. When we surround ourselves with broken things, we begin to internalize the energy of incompleteness. Our homes, especially the places where we gather, eat, and share love, reflect our state of mind. A cracked bowl is a silent whisper of scarcity, of things that once were whole but no longer are. From a health perspective, too, cracked bowls and plates are more dangerous than they seem. Cracks and chips may harbor bacteria invisible to the eye. Food served in them may carry risk, especially for children or the elderly with weakened immune systems. Even a small cut from a sharp chipped edge, if ignored, can become infected. In many traditions, blood is life energy. And when you bleed, even from something minor, your body and spirit are impacted. But beyond the physical, there is something more subtle. Have you ever sat down at a beautiful table, only to notice a chipped plate in front of you? Doesn't it subtly shift your mood? It tells your mind, something is broken here. And when repeated day after day, those small signals compound. They shape how we feel, how we eat, and how we relate to those around us. So what should you do? It's simple, but powerful. Remove all chipped or cracked tableware immediately. Even if it's your favorite bowl. Even if it was a gift. When something is broken, its energy has already shifted. Letting go of it is not wasteful, it's an act of release. You are clearing space for wholeness to return. Replace them with new items that are whole, no cracks, no dents. Neutral in design, gentle patterns or solid, earthy tones. Balanced in shape, round or oval promotes harmony. If possible, choose tableware made of ceramic or porcelain. These materials retain warmth and are traditionally associated with grounding and nourishment. Avoid bold, aggressive patterns or sharp color contrasts on your plates. They disrupt the calm rhythm of mealtime. Instead, go for soft whites, muted blues, or natural clay tones. And as you lay the table, do it mindfully. Wipe each bowl. Place it gently. Say a silent intention, even something as simple as, "May this meal nourish not only the body but the soul." You'll be surprised at how much changes when you begin treating your home like a sacred temple, starting with your dining table. This is not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about realizing that what you eat from shapes what you carry within. And if you want your home to be filled with abundance, peace, and health, it begins not with fortune tellers or magic charms, but with the everyday choices you make. Like which bowl you eat from. And whether it's whole. Let your dining table reflect the kind of life you want to build, steady, supportive, and whole. Because when the vessel is complete, so is the blessing it carries. Part 3, Money on the Table, When Wealth Becomes Burden. At first glance, money seems like a welcome guest in any part of the home. It represents success, survival, security, everything we strive to earn and protect. But when money shows up in the wrong place, it can quickly turn from a symbol of wealth into a trigger for stress, arguments, and even financial loss. The dining table is one of those sacred spaces where money simply does not belong. In Feng Shui, the dining table is the center of family unity, a space where nourishment is shared and energy is exchanged. It's a place of warmth, not calculation. Peace, not pressure. When money, especially loose cash or coins, is left scattered across this space, its disruptive energy begins to take root. What should be a calming ritual becomes an unconscious battleground of financial tension. Let me illustrate this with a story. A man named David ran a small business from home. He was diligent, passionate, and poured his heart into his work. Every evening, he brought his ledger, receipts, and a stack of bills to the dining table, right before dinner. He thought it was harmless. After all, the table was large and convenient. But over time, he noticed something strange. Meals began to feel tense. His teenage daughter ate quickly and left. His wife grew quieter by the day. Conversations shifted from laughter to budget talk, utility bills, and arguments about expenses. The family was still under the same roof, but emotionally, they were drifting apart. One evening, his daughter refused to come to dinner. She said, "It doesn't feel like dinner anymore. It feels like a meeting." And in that moment, it hit him. By bringing money to the table, David had unknowingly replaced emotional nourishment with financial anxiety. He had allowed numbers to invade the very heart of family life. In both Buddhist and psychological terms, this is more than just a practical mistake, it's an energetic one. Money carries weight. It brings with it attachment, fear, desire, and control. While these emotions have their place, they don't belong at the family table, where compassion, patience, and presence should lead. When money is visible during meals, it subtly shifts everyone's focus. Instead of feeling grateful for the food or sharing stories from the day, the mind wanders to debts, costs, comparisons. Even children pick up on it. They sense the tension. They absorb the scarcity mindset. And over time, it takes root in the home. So what's the solution? First, Create clear boundaries between where financial matters are handled and where the family connects. The dining table should never double as a workspace, bill sorting center, or place to count money. Second, store money properly. Whether it's a wallet, a safe, or a specific drawer, give your finances a dignified home, out of sight, but with structure. Money thrives in places of order, not chaos. And third, consider creating a prosperity corner in the southeast area of your home. In Feng Shui, this area governs abundance. A small jar filled with coins, 5 emperor coins, or even a small golden object can activate this energy. But remember, the power is not in the object, it's in the intention behind it. Above all, treat the dining table as sacred. When you sit down to eat, let money rest elsewhere. Give your family the full presence it deserves. Let the table be a place where gratitude grows, where the energy of enoughness fills the room, and where wealth is not just counted, but felt. Because real wealth isn't the number in your account, it's the peace at your table. Part 4, Medicine on the Table, Inviting Illness Through Familiarity. Medicine is meant to heal. It represents care, attention, and the effort to restore balance in the body. But when it becomes a regular sight on the dining table, left beside spoons and soup bowls, it begins to carry a very different energy. In both Feng Shui and Buddhist thought, the space of healing and the space of nourishment must be respected as distinct. One treats illness, the other fosters vitality. And when those boundaries blur, the energy that governs our well-being becomes confused, and in time, so do we. There's a quiet, unseen impact that occurs when medicine becomes part of our mealtime environment. The dining table is where we gather to give thanks, share love, and feed not just the body, but the soul. It's where joy is exchanged, where stories are told. But when pills, syrups, or prescription bottles take up space on that same table, they send a subtle signal to everyone seated: we are not well. This daily, silent message, repeated meal after meal, takes root in the subconscious. And over time, it shapes the energy of the home. Let me share a story. A retired teacher named Helen had been living with chronic joint pain for years. Her medication, prescribed for inflammation and sleep support, became a routine part of her life. For convenience, she left her pill bottles on the dining table, where she took them after every meal. At first, it felt practical. But soon, her home began to feel heavy. Her daughter, who visited every weekend, mentioned that meals felt less cheerful, even though nothing specific had changed. Helen began to notice something else too: her energy didn't return, even when the weather was good. She had difficulty sleeping, and her appetite dipped. Conversations at dinner often turned into complaints about pain, test results, or medical costs. Then one day, an old friend came to visit. As they sat down for lunch, the friend looked at the cluttered table and asked gently, "Why is your medicine in the middle of your meals?" That simple question made Helen pause. She realized she had unknowingly centered illness in a space meant for nourishment and gratitude. Her dining table had become not a place of renewal, but a reminder of decline. According to both Eastern healing philosophy and modern psychology, the mental association we create around physical spaces directly affects our energy and recovery. When the table becomes a place of pills, the body receives mixed messages. Rather than preparing itself for healing through food, it begins to anchor itself in a mindset of ongoing illness. Furthermore, medicine, especially in pill form, often carries symbolic energy of dependency, weakness, and imbalance. That energy, while necessary in the context of healing, should not be allowed to permeate the atmosphere of family bonding and emotional connection. And for families with children, The danger is more direct. Leaving medicine on the dining table creates a real physical risk. Bright colored tablets or syrup bottles may look like candy to a child. Many hospitalizations have occurred simply because medication was left within arm's reach of curious hands. So how do we protect the energy of the dining table while still honoring the body's need for healing? Start by creating a dedicated medicine corner, a box, drawer, or shelf that's away from communal areas. Store medications discreetly, and bring them out only at the time they're needed. If you or a loved one needs to take pills during meals, place a gentle reminder on the fridge or set an alarm. Don't let the reminder live on the table itself. Second, bring mindfulness to the way you approach food and healing. Instead of focusing on the medicine, bless your food as the first form of medicine. In Buddhist tradition, the Buddha himself said, "Your food is your first offering to the body." When that offering is made with love, care, and presence, it strengthens the body from within. Lastly, remind yourself often, healing is not just about what we take, but about what we allow ourselves to believe. If the dining table becomes a symbol of illness, the spirit will retreat. But if it becomes a symbol of renewal, joy, and connection, the healing process gains strength. Let your meals be moments of wholeness. Keep your medicine with care, but keep your table sacred. Because even in the quietest corners of your home, energy listens. And what you place where matters more than you think. So as we move forward, take a moment to look at your own table. What energy have you been allowing to sit with you at each meal? If you've found this message meaningful so far, support this journey of wisdom and mindfulness by tapping the like button. It helps the message reach others who need it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma to continue learning how small shifts at home can lead to deep changes within. Now, let's move to the next hidden habit that's quietly shaping the spirit of your household. Part 5. Electronics at the table, disconnected in a connected world. We live in the most connected time in human history, yet never have we felt so distant from each other. Technology has brought us incredible tools. It allows us to work from anywhere, learn from anyone, and stay in touch with loved ones around the globe. But when these devices begin to intrude into the most sacred moments of our daily life, especially the dinner table, they begin to do something else entirely. They disconnect us from what matters most. The dining table, in Buddhist and Feng Shui traditions, is more than a place for meals. It is a spiritual bridge, a space where hearts meet and minds settle. In that moment of togetherness, gratitude flows. Nourishment is shared. Harmony is built, one conversation, one smile, one meal at a time. But all of that begins to erode when screens show up. Let me tell you about a man named Evan. Evan was a father of two. A good man, hardworking, kind. But like many of us, he had grown used to checking his phone constantly. Notifications never stopped. During meals, he would often place his phone next to his plate. Just in case. A quick glance here, a short reply there. He told himself he was multitasking, being productive. But his family noticed something different. His daughter stopped talking as much during dinner. His son began bringing his tablet to the table too. Meals became quieter. Shorter. Empty, not in food, but in feeling. One evening, his wife asked gently, "Do you even remember what we talked about during dinner yesterday?" He couldn't answer. Because he hadn't really been there. His body was. But his mind was elsewhere. This is what happens when electronics enter sacred space. From a Feng Shui perspective, electronic devices bring disruptive energy into a space designed for calm. The electromagnetic fields they emit are subtle, but powerful. They disturb the room's natural qi, adding agitation and restlessness where stillness should be. In Buddhist practice, mindfulness, being fully present, is a cornerstone of awareness. But screens draw attention away from the now. They fracture presence. Instead of sharing the moment with family, we begin living in a world of headlines, emails, and videos. We may be seated at the same table, but spiritually, we are miles apart. Worse still, children model what they see. If the adults at the table are glued to screens, so too will the children be. What begins as a habit of convenience becomes a generational pattern of disconnection. And it's not just emotional. Prolonged exposure to screens during meals has been linked to weakened digestion, reduced appetite regulation, and sleep disturbances, especially in children and the elderly. Our nervous systems are deeply sensitive to stimuli, and the dinner table, a place meant to calm and ground us, turns into another stressful environment when devices are present. So what can be done? Start with a simple but powerful family rule: no electronics at the table. No phones, no tablets, no laptops. Just food, presence, and conversation. This isn't about control, it's about intention. Before every meal, try placing all devices in another room or a designated charging basket. Create a visual ritual, lighting a small candle, saying a blessing, or simply holding hands in silence for a few seconds. These quiet acts send a signal to the spirit: we are here. Together. Fully. If you have young children, turn dinner into a game of attention. Ask each person to share one thing they're grateful for or one moment from their day. This begins to rewire the family's energy from distraction to connection. And if you eat alone, resist the urge to scroll. Let your food become the meditation. Taste. Chew. Breathe. Be present with yourself. Because the truth is, the greatest wealth in life is not found in what's on your screen. It's in the people sitting across from you. And when you return your full presence to the table, you restore something sacred, the bond between hearts. The world will wait. The messages will wait. But your family, your peace, your breath, that cannot wait. Let the table be a sanctuary again. Next, we'll look at one final habit that seems harmless but quietly undermines everything: the energy of trash and leftover clutter. Let's continue. Part 6: Trash and used napkins. Clutter equals stagnation. After a good meal, what remains on the table may seem insignificant: crumbs, bones, used napkins, maybe an empty takeout container or two. We've all been guilty of leaving these things for just a little while. But in the language of energy, that little while can echo far louder than we realize. In Feng Shui, the state of your living space mirrors the state of your inner being. A cluttered room reflects a cluttered mind. A messy dining table, especially one left uncleaned after meals, becomes a breeding ground, not just for bacteria, but for stagnant energy. And wherever energy becomes stuck, progress stalls. Think of energy like water. It needs to flow. The moment it pools or gets blocked, it becomes stale, and eventually toxic. I once visited the home of a woman named Angela. She was a kind soul, warm-hearted, deeply spiritual. But for some reason, she always felt exhausted. Her finances were shaky, her children constantly argued, and her creativity, once vibrant, had vanished. Angela cooked daily, always made sure her family was well fed. But when I sat down with her for tea, I noticed something. Her dining table was never fully cleared. Even between meals, there were paper towels crumpled near the edge, small piles of leftover food in containers, used chopsticks in a cup, and receipts tucked under a placemat. At first glance, it didn't seem like a big deal. But that table, her family's gathering place, was no longer a source of calm. It had become a subconscious symbol of delay, neglect, and buildup. And when we let physical mess linger, emotional weight builds quietly alongside it. In Buddhism, the practice of clearing space is not just practical, it's a spiritual act. It reflects the principle of letting go. Holding on to what no longer serves us, whether it's thoughts, habits, or literal trash, is a form of attachment. And attachment always leads to suffering. Used napkins may seem small, but energetically, they're remnants of consumption. They've served their purpose. When left on the table, they speak of incompletion, of actions not yet closed. In the same way that unfinished business can haunt the mind, unremoved waste haunts a home's energy. Even more practically, food scraps and dirty tissues attract bacteria, odors, and pests. They impact air quality, especially in warmer climates. The table, which should be a place of nourishment, becomes a subtle source of discomfort and decline. So what can you do? Begin by treating cleanup as part of the meal ritual, not an afterthought. When you finish eating, take a moment to clear everything, completely. Not later. Now. Wipe down the surface. Pick up every napkin. Close the meal with the same care you began it. Consider placing a small trash bin or compost container near the dining area, not to normalize mess, but to encourage mindful tidiness. Make it easy to clear, and it will become habit. You can also switch from disposable napkins to washable cloth ones. Not only is this better for the environment, but it transforms the aesthetic of your meals. Cloth napkins create a sense of elegance and intention, reminding us that meals are not rushed chores, but sacred moments. And as you clear the table, try to breathe consciously. Imagine that each crumb you remove is a thought released. Each wipe of the cloth, a clearing of old energy. Let it be a meditation in motion. Because ultimately, a clean table is more than a clean surface. It is a message to the universe. I am ready. I make space for abundance. I welcome peace into my home. Let go of what's used. Remove what's broken. Release what's been consumed. And what will take its place? Freshness. Clarity. Flow. If this message resonates with you, let the energy ripple outward. Like this video and subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma. Together, we're reclaiming not just our homes, but the peace within them. In the next section, we'll go beyond avoiding what not to place on your dining table, and explore how to actively transform it into a true source of fortune and harmony. Let's continue. Part 7, Rebalancing the Table. Turning the dining space into a wealth magnet. After exploring what not to place on your dining table, the next step is even more powerful, learning how to turn this space into a true magnet for wealth, harmony, and well-being. Because removing negative energy is only half the work. The real transformation happens when we intentionally plant the seeds of prosperity right where the family gathers, the dining table. In both Feng Shui and Buddhist practice, we learn that form shapes energy. The way a space is arranged can either invite balance or create subtle chaos. And the dining table, being a central hub of the home, is especially sensitive. Just as a temple must be designed to hold peace, the family table must be prepared to hold fortune. Let's begin. 1. The role of the dining table in spiritual energy. In modern life, we often treat the table as just another surface, something to drop keys on, pile mail onto, or eat dinner in front of a screen. But in spiritual terms, the dining table is far more than that. It's the altar of the home, a place of daily offerings, where we receive life force through food, and share it with those we love. In Buddhism, every meal is a chance to practice mindfulness. Every bite is a gift. and every gathering is an opportunity to harmonize karma. So the first step in rebalancing your dining space is to restore its sacredness. When we see the table not as ordinary, but as a source of energy, we begin to treat it with care. And that shift in mindset alone begins to change the flow of fortune. 2. Proper placement of the dining table. The location of your table matters more than most people think. Avoid placing the table too close to the entrance. This area experiences strong, unstable chi. When the table is too close to this energy, it becomes difficult to retain wealth. The flow is too fast, too direct. Fortune enters, but leaves just as quickly. Never place the table directly facing the main door. This alignment brings in disruptive energy, good and bad, and causes tension during meals. It makes the table feel exposed, vulnerable. Simple adjustments. If the layout of your home makes these placements unavoidable, you can use a light curtain, folding screen, or tall plant to soften the line of energy between the entrance and the table. These don't block energy, they slow it down, allowing harmony to settle. Also, avoid placing the table directly beneath a ceiling beam. In Feng Shui, beams represent pressure. They weigh down the space below, creating feelings of unease, stress, and even conflict among family members. Remedy: hang a warm pendant light from the ceiling to visually break the beam's dominance. Let the light reclaim the center. 3. Ideal dining table shapes for energy flow. Shape matters. Sharp angles can cut energy. Curves help it flow. Best choices: round and oval tables. These shapes symbolize unity, continuous flow, and emotional closeness. They make everyone feel equally included. That's why many traditional family meals in Asia are served around round tables. Acceptable shapes: square or rectangular, as long as edges are softened. If your table has sharp corners, consider using a soft tablecloth or corner protectors to ease the energetic harshness. Avoid at all costs triangular tables. In Feng Shui, triangles are symbols of conflict and instability. They amplify arguments and disharmony. If you're unable to change the table, place a round object in the center, such as a bowl of fruit, a crystal sphere, or a circular flower arrangement. This helps neutralize the sharpness and restore flow. 4. Color scheme and material choices. Colors are not just visual, they are energetic. Warm earth tones like soft browns, gentle yellows, or muted oranges invite calmness, emotional warmth, and digestive ease. These tones promote feelings of stability and nourishment. Avoid cold tones like jet black, steel gray, or icy white. These drain energy and make the space feel emotionally distant. If your table is a dark color, balance it with lighter colored accessories or placemats. Avoid overly bright or loud colors such as neon red or fluorescent green. These overstimulate the nervous system, creating irritability and tension. Material matters too. Tables made of natural wood, bamboo, or stone are grounding and energetically stable. Glass tables, while modern, often leak energy, especially if the surface is frequently cluttered or dusty. If you have a glass table, consider placing a woven runner down the center to anchor energy. 5. Enhancing the 5 elements through meal composition. Your table doesn't just hold objects, it holds meals. And in Feng Shui, a balanced meal is also an energetic composition. Every dish carries one or more of the 5 elements. Wood, green vegetables, herbs, and fruits symbolize growth, flexibility, and health. Fire, spicy foods, grilled dishes, fried items symbolize energy, motivation, and clarity of purpose. Earth, root vegetables, grains, beans Symbolize stability, financial security, and groundedness. Metal, crisp textures, metal utensils, white-colored foods. Symbolize structure, discipline, and clean communication. Water, soups, teas, broths. Symbolize flow, emotional fluidity, and renewal. Tip: try to incorporate all 5 elements into one meal. It doesn't have to be complicated. Even simple rice with stir-fried vegetables, hot tea, and a clean table setting can achieve this energetic balance. 6. Lighting and atmosphere. Lighting sets the mood and the energy. Use warm yellow lighting over the dining table to create a sense of comfort and connection. This lighting supports digestion, encourages lingering conversations, and softens sharp emotions. Avoid cold white lights that feel like an office or hospital. They disrupt the body's natural rhythms and make meals feel rushed or sterile. If the table is near a window, use sheer curtains or plants to soften the intensity of sunlight, especially if the window faces the main door. Too much brightness creates imbalance, just as too little does. A pendant light hung directly over the center of the table not only anchors the space visually, but also energetically illuminates the center of family harmony. 7. Symbolic enhancements for prosperity. Once your table is clean, well placed, and bathed in warm light, consider adding a few small items that act as symbols of prosperity. A round fruit bowl filled with oranges or apples, symbols of luck and abundance. A vase of fresh flowers, especially peonies or chrysanthemums, symbolize harmony and longevity. A simple cloth runner in an earthy color to draw the eye to the center. A small crystal orb or quartz cluster to uplift the space energetically. But remember, less is more. Don't crowd the table. 1 or 2 carefully chosen items placed with intention will radiate far more energy than many objects placed without thought. 8. Conclusion of the transformation. When all of these elements come together, placement, shape, color, light, food, and intention, your dining table becomes more than a surface. It becomes a living altar of abundance. It welcomes peace with every plate. It invites fortune with every conversation. It becomes the quiet, powerful force beneath your daily life, the one holding everything in place. And the beauty is, you don't need to buy anything magical. You don't need to believe in superstition. You simply need to see differently. Act with intention. Respect the energy around you. Your home listens. Your table listens. And when you treat them as sacred, they will begin to respond, not in superstition, but in results. Let your dining table be a reminder that fortune is not something we chase. It is something we make space for. Part 8, Closing Insights. Wealth begins with awareness. We often think of wealth as something far away, something we chase, something we earn, something we store in banks or calculate on paper. But true wealth begins in much simpler, quieter places. It begins with awareness. Awareness of how we live. Of what we surround ourselves with. Of the energy we allow into the spaces that hold our daily lives. Your dining table is not just a place to eat. It is the daily stage where your life plays out, one meal, one conversation, one quiet glance at a loved one at a time. And the energy you cultivate here ripples outward into your finances, your health, your relationships, and even your mindset. Perhaps until now, you hadn't considered how a chipped bowl or a cluttered corner could affect your mood. Or how a phone on the table might disconnect more than it connects. But now you do. And with that awareness comes power. The power to change your environment. And your life. The Dharma teaches us that fortune is not a matter of luck, it's the result of right thought, right action, and right presence. When your space aligns with your values, when your home becomes a reflection of your clarity and peace, prosperity becomes natural. Not forced. Not fought for. Simply invited. And it all starts with simple actions. Clearing what no longer serves. Placing with intention. Sharing meals with presence. Honoring the table not just as furniture, but as a field of energy, where love and abundance are both prepared and received. Let this be your takeaway. You don't need to change your entire house to change your life. Sometimes, all it takes is one clean surface. One peaceful meal. One intentional shift. Repeated with love. If this video has opened something for you, take a moment to support this channel. Tap the like button to affirm your intention. Subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma for more insights on how everyday life can become a doorway to peace, clarity, and wealth. And if you feel moved, leave a comment below. Something as simple as, "I welcome abundance and harmony into my home." It's a small act, but words have energy, and your voice matters. May your home be filled with warmth. May your meals be rich in connection. And may your table, simple as it may seem, become the foundation of lasting peace, prosperity, and joy. Thank you for walking this path with us. We'll see you in the next video.